I'm delighted to be speaking with Sophie Schofield from St Modwen Homes about the Sales Executive Level 4 qualification, and I'm just going to hand over, before we get into the conversation, hand over to Sophie to give us a quick introduction about her role within St Modwen Homes. Sophie?
Thanks, Barry. I'm Head of Sales for the South East at St Modwen Homes. My role is to oversee and manage the sales team and drive the business to grow the region.
So, before we start talking about the apprenticeship, Sophie, I think it would be really good to know how you believe St Modwen differentiates itself as a company from your competitors.
St Modwen believes a home is much more than just bricks and mortar. It brings a community together, and we like to placemate in a new area. We believe it's really important to bring people together and connect our developments with the wider local area and provide lots of green space, encouraging people to get out and about, especially at the moment with lockdown. And our homes are really made for real life. We respond to the design decisions that we look at, we respond to our purchasers' needs and the challenges that we see, and they're at the heart of everything we do in our design. We're looking at today's way of living, and as an example, we've just put in working from home areas in all of our house types. So that provides extra sockets, extra cabling for hardwiring for internet if that's needed, and just somewhere that there is space for a desk that people can now work from home. Many of our developments have now got hyper optic, that's fibre internet, so when they move in, within half an hour, one phone call, they can be connected to the internet. They don't have to wait for BT or whoever else to come out and install 6 weeks after they've moved in. We pride ourselves on height and light within our homes, larger windows, higher ceilings. That lets lots of natural light plug in, which doesn't just help with personal well-being, but it also helps in saving on your energy bills too, because you don't have to keep the lights on all day because you're in a dark, dingy room. We don't just build a house, we build a home, and I think it reflects not just on our house types, but also on the feel that our developments create, and it's something that we're really proud of.
So that's really interesting, and I want to ask a question now that's not really related to the apprenticeship, but I'm going to ask it anyway. That extra workspace that you mentioned, is that a direct consequence of a response to the conditions that we've all been living under over the last year?
Absolutely. We've taken on board the changes in lifestyle that our purchasers are having to deal with. Not just homeschooling, but also the need to now work from home in a quiet space, and that's been very much the forefront of the design changes that we've made.
So that is a differentiator, I would assume. But what I wanted to explore a little bit more was what role your salespeople play in that differentiation of St Modwen Homes in the marketplace. So what are they doing to make you look different as an organisation?
Our sales teams are really proud of the product that they're selling and the local area and the long-term development plans and communities that we're creating. Our products as a whole ensure that we take them on an outstanding customer journey from beginning to end, and our sales team are at the forefront of that. They are the first point of contact, and they're the very last person to hand over the keys and customer care to take them on the rest of their journey. The team are dedicated, not just to the developments, but to being part of that community themselves. Several of our sales consultants live on the developments they sell from, so they are very much ingrained in the area and the belief that it's the right place to live. And that's essential because it helps our purchasers to visualise their dream. We have very open lines of communication with our sales team, and we take their ideas on board, which helps enhance our organisation and create a much better place to work.
That's all really interesting, fascinating, in fact, particularly when you think of some of the content of the qualification itself. If I could just move on to that, because I've had the privilege of meeting some of your salespeople virtually up to this point, and of course your leadership team. And of course, one of the things that I did notice was that there's quite an experience range within the team. What do you think, how would that impact, or how will that impact on their attitude towards gaining a professional qualification when you've got some people who may be quite new into the role as a consultant, and you've got other people who've perhaps been doing that job for 15 years or more?
From our team's feedback and their response, I think there are really two clear drivers towards the apprenticeship. and taking part in this exciting qualification. For our newer consultants, it's a fantastic opportunity for them to look at the core elements within the sales process and understand and learn what outstanding actually looks like, as opposed to just being good at what they do. For those with more experience, this is their chance to enhance their skills, to develop new ones, and actually for them to progress on their career path with St Modwen Homes.
So that's really interesting, Sophie. That I think one of the things that's come out, certainly from my interactions with St Modwen up to this point, is the level of enthusiasm across the organisation in all the roles, from the leadership team, but also from the sales consultants as well. And you've got sales consultants in different roles, which again makes me think about, I mean, it's great to be developed, and anyone likes to be thought of as important enough in their organisation to be developed. But there's got to be a business output for St Modwen as well. And I just wondered what you believed were the corporate expectations of output and contribution from developing your sales team.
Growth, not just from the number of sales, but also from our team themselves. Their desire to take ownership of the development, to be part of that business and strive constantly to better themselves, to gain more knowledge, and their involvement in the business on a day-to-day basis. I would absolutely love to see the sales team coming to us with new ideas or research or analysis that they've thought to do without being prompted to do it, something that we could potentially then roll out across the business to the whole team that they could then be really proud of instigating. And also personal growth, watching the team flourish in their roles and driving others with their enthusiasm and sharing their new knowledge to be part of the cohort for the next round.
I mean, that's also really interesting that you're talking about building for future cohorts. I mean, it ties in very nicely with one of the themes of National Apprenticeship Week. One of the straplines that's being used is building for the future. I mean, so appropriate for St Modwen. But also at the same time, certainly in our experience up to this point, St Modwen appear to be in the vanguard of certainly building companies, construction companies who are looking at sales apprenticeships and professionalisation. So you really are sort of building for the future. You're thinking about that, and you're thinking about not only the business result, but you're also thinking about the people as well and their capability. So moving on in terms of that line of thought and that sort of continuum, clearly management have shown a lot of engagement up to this point in principle. I just wondered what you thought as a sales leader within St Modwen. What do you think your contribution and that of your colleagues is going to be to support the learners? What are you going to do to add value to them?
We're all extremely proud of the interest that's been shown by our team in being part of this exciting journey. As a leadership team, we'll all support, nurture and guide the team throughout the course. We're totally committed to them being successful, and whilst we're giving them time to complete the course, we'll all be here to listen to their ideas, encourage them when they're perhaps struggling, give them pointers to consider, enabling them to succeed a little bit more, and to be proud of their achievements and to be celebrated by the whole of St Modwen.
I mean, that's interesting as well. Using your language is very emotion driven, which is fantastic. You know, you're talking about celebration, you talked about visualization and stuff earlier on, which is really going to be important, because one of the things that I think we've noticed in 2 years of supporting clients through this journey is that the icing on the cake, if you like, or the glue that holds the whole thing together, is how engaged the management team are. And you know, that doesn't necessarily mean a lot of investment of time from managers. It just means the right touches in the right place at the right time for the learner. It's connecting their day-to-day life. So I mean, what kind of things, I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit here, but in terms of your focus, what are you going to be interested in seeing in terms of changes within your team? What would you be looking for?
I think for a lot of the newer members of the team, or those with less experience, for me personally, it's watching their confidence grow and watching them understand and have some self-belief that they can do this job and they can be successful in it. For those that are more experienced and have been in the industry for a number of years, I think the key driver for me is actually seeing them learn new skills that they didn't have before, and actually perhaps understanding the impact on business decisions, that things, that the sale that they do or the deal that they offer or whatever it is, the impact that might have on the business and how they can have ideas that would help us drive the business forward.
One of the things that struck me when we were discussing with some of your learning and development team and HR team about your sale, which is a very particular sale, it's a very sensory driven sale, because we were talking about the smell of a new house, of carpets, or of new paint, or that fresh smell, and that experience is very tactile as well. And of course, your team have had to get used to using new tools during this strange period that we've been experiencing over the last year. Incorporating that was very important, I think, to St Modwen, that we incorporated your new tools into the development. How much are you relying on different ways of selling now as compared to, say, the pre-COVID time?
We have had to change a lot. We've had to go more digital. We have digital sales consultants now that are based from home, as well as our on-site sales consultants. We've brought in virtual tours that we can actually give our purchasers a code that we can still take them around that journey. We can still control them walking through the virtual tour and explain the house to them in the same way as we would, and try and give them that feel of the smell and the touch and the excitement of being in a new home, and not just see it as bricks and mortar. So we've had to change an awful lot. Digital has become the forefront of everything that we do now, and we rely heavily on the digital team and the sales consultants to work together in order to ensure that we promote our homes in the way that they should be promoted.
Amazing. We could talk for probably the rest of the day, Sophie. It's been really, really great to talk to you today, and just to get some insight into how St Modwen's appetite for this qualification is just so, it's just so tremendously enthusiastic and positive. So thanks so much for your time. I'm sure this will generate a lot of interest, and every success in the programme.
Thank you very much indeed. We are extremely excited to be taking part in the programme.